Pauline's in Peckham. Pauline, what would you like to say?
I'd like to bring a real situation to everybody's focus. Because when I'm hearing in James O'Brien in your show on the TV, oh well, it's just a laugh.
You're not hearing that here, Pauline. To be fair, you categorically are not hearing that.
In those people that are defending Jeremy's position, no one's actually. The British public are cleverer than that. They realise it's just a connection with Game of Thrones. No one's really going to strip her naked and throw feces.
Yeah, I've heard some of these excuses, but I think you and I can agree they're both pathetic and quite illuminating. Anyone using those excuses is actually quietly quite enjoying Jeremy Clarkson's misogyny and racism.
And I'd just like to point everybody to a real scenario with my daughter, who was a few years ago, at the age of 14, attacked by a group of young white lads. She was on her way after a fireworks display. I'd let her go out with a group of her and her friends to the fireworks display. And as you know, as they're getting older, you want to give them some kind of little bit of freedom. So I'd sent her off dropped her off to the fireworks display. Within the fireworks display, her and another friend got lost from the main group. It was a mixture of white and black girls. My daughter is black, and her friend that was with her when they got split up was black. They stayed in a park just trying to organise where they were all going to meet up. There were a group of boys. They were playing behind them, throwing what they thought was a ball, etc. My daughter felt something hit the back of her hair. She continued to walk. The boys were her own age, so it wasn't that she felt necessarily unsafe. She thought it was lads being lads, as people have mentioned on the programme. When she got up caught up with the group, they realised that there was faeces in her hair. It was actually a poo bag that the boys had thrown. Right. She was distressed. They took her to a local shop that let her use the bathroom, and they tried to get it out of her hair. When I picked her up, I could see the humiliation in her eyes. It was just devastating.
Of course it was. And for anyone...
your innocent daughter feeling totally humiliated, not just by the boys doing that, but having her friends having to kind of take it out of her hair. I could smell it on her hair. Had to take her and wash and almost try to play it down a bit just so that her feelings weren't so hurt. This is the time of Instagram, etc. So she herself, she just was a young teenager. She was embarrassed. She didn't want to talk about it. I just was there as much as I could. But even now, I can see her face. That innocent face of why did they do this to me? The humiliation. We forget about that. We forget about the person's humiliation in even just talking about it, wanting the episode to go away. And for me, Jeremy Clarkson is attention-seeking, arrogant, just like those lads. They were having an arrogant play about, and there is a perversion in what he said about stripping someone naked.
He's worse, isn't he? Because he dreams about doing to Meghan Markle what was done what actually was done to your daughter. And I mean, that they may not have wanted. I don't know. Neither of us were there. But what happened is disgusting. You'd think everyone would agree with that. Jeremy Clarkson lies awake in bed at night dreaming of it happening to a woman he's never met.
I would say to Jeremy Clarkson, after what he said, are girls like my daughter safer on the streets from what he said? Are they safer in the parks from what he said? Are they safer from going out to, say, for example, a fireworks from what he said? I think he's a bully. The son is a bully. They're not thinking about the impact. I can't imagine how Megan Fielding having to even discuss something like that. We forget that it's not just embarrassing hearing it, but it's when you have to refer to it in discussions with people. That's humiliating. That's somebody naked. It's a perversion.
It is. I don't know if unwell is the right word to use, because that almost conflates it with genuine illness. But it's sick, right? And
putting young girls.
I've got to be honest with you, Pauline. Halfway through your story, I was missing the point about you describing what happening to your daughter is what he dreams of doing to Meghan Markle. I thought you were just sharing with me a story of racist abuse, public racist abuse or bullying, but you mean literally saw your girl.
Yeah, I smelt the feces in her hair. I had to wash it out. We had to wash her hair, then wash it again. It's not just a one-time event that happens. There's an aftermath, and there's an aftermath with Meghan. There's the conversation today. There was a conversation Friday. There was a conversation Saturday. Yeah. There's going to be conversations from that. There's going to be when somebody else is mentioned, that being brought in.
And somebody somewhere will be thinking that kind of behaviour is now somehow more acceptable than it was before he wrote this. If Jeremy Clarkson dreams about it.
Exactly. What are other people dreaming of?
Okay,
and maybe those boys might have taken it the next step further. Now he's allowed this.
He's introduced it to public discourse. And then to conclude with the line, everyone who's my age thinks the same way. Sounds like he's granting permission.
Exactly. She was only 14.
I hope he hears this call.
Yeah, I hope you are listening, Jeremy. I hope Clarkson, and I hope you are listening, the Sun editors. You are bullies, and you are putting young girls like Jeremy, your daughter, you're putting them at a higher risk of harm.
Thank you, Pauline.
Thank you for listening.
Well, no, I'm sorry that I didn't get the point of your call until we were a few minutes into it. That's the nature of this beast, I suppose. But my God, it couldn't have been more powerful, could it? It's happened. There you go, mate. It's happened to her. It's happened to Pauline's daughter. You still going to lie awake in bed at night, dreaming about it happening to someone else? Are you? Problem is, I know men like him and can never, ever, ever, ever admit it. If there's any apology, if there's any climb down, it will be absolutely undertaken under immense duress, because to admit to being wrong about anything is to see the whole edifice of your carefully constructed character collapse. The survival personality that you build at schools like his, Repton it was, and schools like mine, the way that you kid yourself you're invulnerable and you turn yourself into something quite obnoxious, something quite combative, something, to use Pauline's words, a bully. All to convince yourself that that little frightened boy inside is not frightened or little. And look at the damage you do, lying in bed at night. Speaking of dreams, Suella Braverman's look closer to coming true. The High Court has just ruled that the government's policy to deport people to Rwanda is lawful, which should pave the way for those flights to take off next year. So while Jeremy Clarkson's dreams have got him into hot water, Suella Braverman's dreams of seeing a front page reporting on genuine refugees, remember, the applications will be processed in Rwanda, and these people are found to have to deserve sanctuary, to deserve refuge. They'll be staying in Rwanda. Suella Braverman's dreams look set to come true. It's 10 to 11.